Hello, my friends. And I wanted to share a few things that have been popping up with various comments and things that people have sent me specifically. I'm Kathy Weaver, and some people are even calling me the Death Whisperer now, which is interesting. I wrote my first book in 2017, and this is not a pitch for my book because it's free. So it's on my YouTube channel. And my second book just got published last month actually, which is myfinalfootprints.com. So that's also free. And with the comments I've been receiving, and thank you very much for that, and certainly thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel, people have been forthcoming and sharing some of their experiences, which I think that's kind of why we're all here, to share our experiences with each other, and it kind of takes the edge off the pain a little bit. So the bottom line is, what was your first death? The first death that you experienced of a loved one. What if you were a kid and it was a neighbor across the street, or maybe the death of a pet? Obviously, you remember that as well. And why would anybody want to talk about that? It's sad. Well, for me, the answer is actually it's therapeutic to talk about it. And that's why I'm so happy that my books have served as conversation starters for you. So again, He Hit the Clouds Running and Never Looked Back. This was published in 2017, and it's an actual paperback. But the rest of the story is, as I said, I put that on my YouTube channel, so it's free. And all you need to do is just click on the playlist and listen to it. So the rest of the story is, when My Final Footprints was born last month, the purpose of that is part one, me telling you what to gather, and part two, you telling that special person in your life where everything is and how to proceed on your behalf. So because of all the publicity and, I guess you would call it, exposure that these books have gotten, and again, thank you very much for that. Keep sharing, keep starting these conversations. They're tough. But if you think about your first death and you share that with someone, it kind of takes you back to what it felt like. What is death? Is there a heaven? People start asking questions about that. Little kids ask questions. Where did my person go? Where did my kitty cat go? Where did my whatever go? And that starts the conversation and gets the ball rolling. And you don't want to talk about it. We have, I mean, obviously people die all the time. I was literally just in a group 1 second ago, which made me think I need to get this video out there in case it would help someone else. There's a very small percentage of people who have been able to skip through life with their white picket fences and their perfect little everything and their happy little family and their everything little something wonderful. And it's a small percentage. The rest of us have stuff. And you don't need to lay it on people necessarily, but if you think back to your first death, and then when someone else has their first death or their 100th death, whatever that looks like in their life, you might be a little more compassionate, perhaps, when they share that. How did you feel when someone told you, I'm sorry for your loss? You guys know how I feel about that term by now. If you don't, it's on my YouTube recording. The rest of the story is, what was the second one like? What was the third one like? Did your faith journey play a part in that? And I wanted to bring up the first death at this time of year. It's holiday season for many of us in the next few months. And people are realizing there's another empty chair at the table. There's another empty spot in the driveway. There's all kinds of loss, of course, that all of us experience all the time. But with myfinalfootprints.com, it is an opportunity once again for you to print off the pages, but it's bigger than that because it starts the conversation. And it starts the conversation no one wants to talk about. So in He Hit the Clouds Running and Never Looked Back, which again is on my YouTube channel, so it's free, I'm not pushing anything. One of the sections in the book is what to say and what not to say when someone has died. When someone says, I'm sorry for your loss, I've told you before on some of these videos that makes me nuts. I didn't lose them. They died. If I lost them, I could find them again, and I don't have that option. My final footprints, again, start the conversation. Do you want everything left up on your social media accounts when you're not here? How do you want that person to proceed on your behalf? Where's your mailbox? Where's your mailbox key? What happens to everything? Now, I realize the answer for some people is, I don't care. Well, that's fine. But remember, you're giving that person that you're leaving in charge of everything a gift to prevent them from having to make decisions on your behalf when they don't know what you wanted. So please remember, this is the gift that keeps on giving for real. And you are giving that person a chance to not have to think when they're in death fog. And for me, death fog is a real thing, as in you're foggy when the death first happens, and sometimes years later. But the bigger issue is you're taking that heat off your remaining persons. So I wanted to talk about that first death, and please share in the comments. And again, keep the emails coming. It's been very impactful for us to be able to have repartee back and forth as far as, I experienced this and it was awful and something else, and I recovered by doing whatever it is. And so I appreciate the comments, and those kind of things have kept us connected. But when you remember your first death, the death of a loved one, the death of someone in your world, you are perhaps a little more empathetic when someone else says, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. And for them, that first impact is huge, and it stays with you, really does, forever. So thank you again for listening. And the death whisperer, I don't know how to take that. I've had lots of experience in this department, but I just do really seriously love helping people. And if any of my books now are able to help someone else, I'm happy to do that. So myfinalfootprints.com, that is literally a PDF document. I made it black and white, so there's no color going on because it is printable. And that way you don't have to pay a fortune to have it printed. It's just black and white words. And that way, when you take it to wherever you take it for printing, to hand to that person and to start that conversation, you have not much expense involved. So anyway, myfinalfootprints.com, totally free. He hit the clouds running and never looked back, also totally free. And that one's on my YouTube channel, Kathy Weaver KC. So what was your first death? Let's be compassionate to those that might be experiencing the loss of a loved one for the first time during this holiday season. Thank you very much for listening, and I definitely appreciate your comments. I'm Kathy Weaver, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.